Hello folks, Fat Guy Flies RC out here at the Avon Park Aero Modelers Club. In front of you is the FMS Skytrainer 182, Cessna 182 basically. All right, right aileron, left aileron, up elevator, down elevator, right rudder, left rudder. Okay, kind of going into the wind, so we really don't need takeoff flaps. As you can see, she's kind of weather vaning there off to the northeast because that's the direction of the wind. So this is another one of those birds that I'm very comfortable with. Highly recommend for your first scale trainer. Maybe not your first plane, but your first scale trainer. Now, only because she's, I hate to use the term fragile, she's very light, and she can be a little fragile as far as the landing gear and stuff goes. So it doesn't make her ideal for your very first plane. Your very first plane, you're going to want something that's going to have really big, robust landing gear. You know, it can really take a beating. Well, that's not, this is a scale plane. It's not meant to take a beating like that. But if you're ready for your first scale trainer and you have flown, and what I mean by scale, I mean this plane here actually exists in real life as you see it, just a whole heck of a lot larger. And so that's why scale, that's what I mean by scale, is it's a scale plane. So all right, there we go. All right, and you can do some mild aerobatics with her. I just wouldn't do too much. Now, I wouldn't do too much pressure on that wing because it has a very short, I know I keep saying this every time I fly it about how it has such a short spar, but it does have a short spar. So the outer almost foot of each wing is just bare foam. So it's a good looking plane, very good looking plane. She's got flaps and lights and just a good plane. Now, I don't have any kind of gyro or any kind of stabilization in her at all. All I've got is I think they're called S603s DSMX protocol receiver.
Landing flap.
And the wind is almost stopped completely. So it's a DSMX controller or a protocol receiver. So flared too soon. Need a flare at the very last second. But the front nose does have the front nose gear does have some suspension on her, so that does help with your less than perfect landing. Do takeoff flaps now. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really even need to use any of my elevator at all. That's the perfect flap setting there. I'll have to look at the radio in a second, tell you what that is. But get her turned towards me now. There. Flare there at the last. Little lawn maintenance with an airplane. There we go. Now, she is a bottom feeder. Directly underneath the cabin is where you put your battery. All right, let's get turned around here. Okay, little Tokyo slide there. All right. The landing strip right now is very, very wet and slick. So let me look at my flap settings here. Okay. For takeoff flaps, which that's what they look like visually, it's down 30% or 30% down flaps and 15% down elevator. That's the mix there. For landing, it's down 70% with 30% down elevator. And that's what I've got now. Let's go back to takeoff flaps. Okay, we're gonna get her turned around. We got just a little bit of wind, and I'm gonna see if we can't take this bad boy off using only throttle. Only throttle. I'm gonna keep my hand off the elevator. I had to put, yeah, okay, so not quite perfect, but almost.
Flaps up.
Yeah, maybe if I, you know what, let's do that again. We'll use the whole runway though, and see if
Landing flaps.
see if that doesn't make the doesn't give me enough down deflection to lift her up. What you want to do, you want her to be able to lift up off the ground, off the runway, without any input from the elevator at all. You just want it to gently rise. All right, that's not a very good landing, but hey. All right, let's get further. Let's get back here to me. Okay, we'll get turned around. We're at this end of the runway. Going to use them takeoff flaps. We're going to see if I can get her to take off. Yeah, see, she took off without me having to use the elevator.
Flaps up.
So, but I think I would like to have a little bit more.
Landing flaps.
A little bit more. I'd like her to take off just a little bit quicker there. All right, so let's get her turned around here. Gonna land with the wind. I'm going to grass, but that's okay. All right, what I'm going to do, while I'm walking over to, I'm going to go to my flap system. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put negative, we're going to go 40. We'll do 40 negative, we'll go, just go negative 50 with 15% down elevator. And let's see if that doesn't give me enough takeoff
Flaps up.
to gear to lift up off the ground there. All right,
Takeoff flaps.
takeoff flaps. Real quick, bear with me for just a minute. Make sure I'm doing that right. Oh no, negative 30% isn't enough. I want to go negative less than that. Yeah, because that's just the way the spectrum is. Let's just do negative 100, or negative 0 actually, and see if that doesn't.
Flaps up.
All right, so negative 0
Flaps.
or 0, and okay. Yeah, never touch the elevator. So 0%,
Flaps up.
0%. Now, I may have to change the mix with my elevator, and that may cause her to balloon or dive.
Takeoff flaps. Time remaining 2 minutes.
No, it balloons a little bit, so I need more down,
Flaps up.
elevator mix, but that's okay. My point was I want her to rise gently on her own
Landing flaps.
without having to use any elevator, and that's what she did. All right, let's actually get back here into a pilot's spot here. Got landing flaps in. Okay. That wind is really messing with her. Now she's got no kind of a gyro or stabilization of any type. There we go. There we
Flaps
go.
up.
All right, still got a minute and a half. She was stuck on something there for a second. All right, let's just have a little bit more fun with it. Still got a minute and a half to go. Didn't use my takeoff flap. After all that, I didn't even use my takeoff flaps. All right.
Landing flaps.
All right. Easing out of the power now. Bringing her around. Straighten her up the runway. There we go. If you hit with your nose too early, then you're almost, especially with a tricycle, you're almost guaranteed to bounce. So you need to, what you need to do is let your mains hit and then let your nose settle in. Still got a minute. Let's get turned around. Do one more. Yeah. Nice looking plane.
Time remaining 1 minute.
Them lights really help.
Flaps up.
All right, this time we're not going to use flaps. Out of the power, just a little touch of power, about maybe 8 throttle right now. No flaps, got her lined up, level, a little bit of back pressure. There we go, there we go. Did you notice how the rear wheels, the mains, touched first? And you want to set this bird down just before a stall speed. So we'll demonstrate that one more time. All right, do the same approach, same everything. Oh, just so you know, I'm running a 2700 3S enter. This is a 3S bird. All right, make our turn. Get our wings level, starting using our rudder now more than anything else. About an 8 throttle, got our wings level. Using just our rudder and our elevator. There we go. Let the mains kind of touch down first and give you a nice landing. The pilot didn't even spill his beer on that one. All right, well, let's take her back to the bench. And I'll show you. We'll take a look and see just how much gas is left in the fuel tank. This is not a smart plane, did not have a smart ESC. Motor off is what you want to hear before you touch your plane. Okay, not a smart ESC, not a smart receiver, not a smart motor, and a questionable pilot. But let's put motors off. Now, this plane does come with some scale antenna, and they just glue in these 2 spots here. But it's a bottom feeder, so 9 times out of 10 you're going to be laying the plane upside down on a flat surface to put your battery in. So not a real smart place, not real smart to have those glued in. Now if they just popped in or are held magnetically, easily take them off and take them on, put them on. That way you could put your battery in there. But yeah, FMS, that wasn't a real smart thing on your part. 55%, and that was a 6-minute timer. I flew for 5.5 minutes. What'd I say? My memory's gone. 55. Okay, 55%. I was doing a lot of landings and takeoffs. No real high speed. You can fly for 10 minutes solid on a 2700. By the way, this is a 2700 35C Hobby Star 3S. Hobby Star is actually the company, and no, RC Juice. RC Juice is the company. Hobby Star is their brand of battery. I've got 4 of these. I've had them for, I don't know, 3-4 years, I think. They're not puffy. They're not swollen. I discharge them when I don't use them. I keep them about 33% when they're not being used. And I get wonderful performance. They're about $29 each. Sometimes they'll run them on sale for like $22. But if you see these, if you need a good solid 3-cell, and it's almost the same size of 2200, but you get a 2700, so you get 500 milliamps more. Good battery. I'm very pleased with it. You don't have to always buy the Spectrum batteries. They're good batteries. They are very good. But LiPos, it's more about the care of the LiPos than it is the LiPo itself. All right, y'all have a good one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And don't forget, folks, faith, family, and friends, and them planes. Bye-bye.